Okay, how's it going, class? So right now we're going to go over a few things, kind of get you guys ready for the test. So let's open this up and let's get started. Um, the first one we're going to cover is meiosis versus mitosis. So meiosis versus mitosis. Now in meiosis versus mitosis, we're just going to take a quick look at mostly meiosis. Just to see how it's different from mitosis. Now again, remember, this deals with sex cells. This deals with the cells that are getting ready for reproduction. So if you turn to page 96 and 97, you can follow along and see exactly what I'm doing here so it all makes sense, okay? So here we go. So first we start off with one cell, and if we remember, one cell is going to have how many chromosomes? 46. So there's this little nucleus and all of our chromosomes are inside of here. And again, if you need to remember what a chromosome is, remember you have something like this sitting inside of a cell, and that is going to be a chromosome. And on there, it's made up of DNA, and it's all wrapped tightly bound, and protein helps do that. So chromosomes are made up of DNA, and if you remember, DNA is made up of nitrogen bases and some other stuff. But anyway, we're dealing with 46 chromosomes, so we're dealing with 46 of these little buggers right here. And inside the human cell, you need to have 46. Again, we talked about if there's a mismatch, the cell simply, it won't produce a baby. It needs to be an exact match to make sure there's no mutations, no problems, and you're not going outside of different species. Now, we start with a single one, and it splits the first time. Now, before it splits, it replicates the DNA. So you're going to see a replication. You're going to see a replication of the DNA. Now, once you have that replication of the DNA, you're going to double your DNA. So when you split into two, again, you're still going to have 46. Because remember, this doubled. Now, the cells are going to be the same size, they're just a little bit smaller, so it fit in the space. So now we have these two cells. We still can't donate these, because if we donate these, say this is from the mother, keep in mind the father's going to be doing the same thing, so we're still going to have way too many. In order to give baby the right amount, you'd only be able to give them 23 from the mother and 23 from the father, because remember, half comes from mom, half comes from dad. So we're going to have to split again, but this time, instead of replicating the DNA, we're going to split before it has a chance to do that, and now we're going to come up with some sex cells that each have 23 chromosomes in them, or we're going to have 4. This also gives us the ability to produce a lot of them coming from just one cell, and it also helps in the way that that the DNA is going to line up, making sure you're getting even. So making sure that, you know, mom's donating half of your Y chromosomes and not accidentally donating like twice 2 copies of, you know, teeth chromosomes. I don't know exactly, but you just want to make sure that, you know, this one has half the eyes, you know, half the eyes, half the toes, half the skin, half the tongue, and each of these have, you know, copies of that too, half of that. And that's why you, if you want to get 4, if you were to take this one and go directly into 4, you can see the problem, because you get half going here, but there would be enough for these two down here. So again, that's why it'll double first, and then it splits those up. So if that makes any sense. And the same thing's going to be happening over here with the father that we saw with the mother. We have the 1 splits into the 2, each having 46, and those each split into having 23. And then these two meet up, let's say these two meet up, and you get a baby. Hooray! They recognize that, yes, 23 and 23, everything checks out. We have 46, it's going to make a very healthy human baby, and so the mother's body allows it to be made. Now, again, I talked about meiosis versus mitosis. Easy way to remember. Remember, this is making 4 sex cells in the mother, and each of these 4 has half the number of chromosomes. But when we look at mitosis, you actually start with 1 cell, and this cell isn't to make a new baby. This cell is just to make new cells in your body. And you get it and you split out like this, and you get 2 cells that are exactly the same, because remember, it replicates the DNA here. You get 2 cells that are exactly the same, exactly both having 46, and then they just stop there. And 46 is all they need as it goes through mitosis. Best way to remember that is, how do you pronounce this word? T-O. Pronounce it 2, just like this 2. And how many cells do you make? 2. And if somebody else said, again, if you want to follow this one, otherwise you can just remember mitosis. Remember, meiosis is the other one that makes 4. But somebody said 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 4 vowels, and you make 4 cells. So That's the way to remember it. So that's meiosis versus mitosis. Now, the next podcast I'll be doing shortly will cover a little bit into DNA and its replication. So, yep. Until next time, I will see you guys